them both for you this morning. A good Saturday morning to you, and welcome to Cocopah Speedway's Laptime Live. It's Racing Radio here on Outlaw Country AM 1400, presented by Cocopah Casino. I'm your host, Mike Stanhope, and thank you for joining us this morning. Lots of news, and normally we jump right into the results of last week's action out of the Diamond in the Desert, but bigger, much bigger news to talk about this morning. Surely you've seen, or if not seen, you've certainly heard that three-time NASCAR Sprint Cup champion Tony Stewart is coming to Yuma to compete with his number 14 Chevrolet Performance Parts Sprint car in the Lucas Oil American Sprint Car Series National Tour Cocopah Cup Challenge presented by Cocopah Casino. That's coming Friday and Saturday nights, March 1st and 2nd at Cocopah Speedway. Now, Stewart's currently at the Daytona International Speedway for Speed Weeks, preparations, of course, for the 55th running of the Daytona 500 a week from tomorrow. Now, a Daytona 500 win would be one of the few prizes that Stewart's not claimed in a racing career that goes all the way back to a World Karting Association championship in 1987. He's won just about every kind of race car there is. The Smoke is in action tonight at Daytona in the Sprint Unlimited exhibition race at the Daytona International Speedway. And amidst that extremely full schedule, Stewart was very kind and very gracious in including Cocopah Speedway in the annual NASCAR Daytona 500 Media Day. And it is indeed our great pleasure and privilege to talk with the man himself this morning, Tony Stewart. Yes, today.
My pleasure.
Well known, Tony, that you'll get behind the wheel of a sprint car, well, nearly any type of car, nearly any opportunity. Choice of tracks that you could be running in the days ahead of the Subway Fresh Fit 500 at Phoenix International Raceway. So how did your interest in Yuma and Cocopah Speedway develop?
Well, I mean, what we try to do with our sprint crew each year is try to find races that we can make that make sense and fit along with the schedule. And so, this made sense, and, it was an easy event for us to come to, and it's, just close in all reality. So that was the logistics of it, just trying to find a place where you can go to that we're trying to, that you try to get in every chance you get when you got an off night.
Word on the streets that you would possibly run here in Yuma years ago, back at what was then known as Yuma Speedway, now of course Cocopah Speedway. If so, any recollections from that?
No, somebody had asked me that, and I don't remember ever being there. And but I know Jimmy Carr, who's our competition director with the team's been there, and so any place that I haven't been, he kind of gives a blessing on whether we should go there or not, and that's some place that he was excited about us getting a chance to go to.
You mentioned Jimmy Carr. It was our privilege back in January to host Frank Carr, Jimmy Carr's father. That turned into a scouting trip in any other ways?
Well, if you guys had Frank, you had a dandy there, because Frank's the one that gets us all in trouble when we're all at the Knoxville Nationals. But Frank's kind of like the I would say mother hen, but he's I guess the father hen, so to speak, for the team. But no, it's Jimmy had talked about going, and when we saw it was on the schedule, it was a perfect opportunity for us to come over and run. It's a great series that's running there, and a good group of guys that we're racing with. So made it pretty exciting for us to know that it was a good show coming up, and someplace that was going to be close by that we can make.
Tony, you're the noted owner or co-owner of several racing facilities, including the famed Eldora Speedway in Rossburg, Ohio. That experience at all play into the dirt tracks you choose to run on around the country?
Well, I like it. I mean, I definitely wouldn't be an owner in with Eldora or Macon Speedway or Paducah International Raceway without loving it for sure. But it's it makes it fun for me. It's something I'm passionate about, short track racing, especially dirt track racing. So for me, any chance I can get to sneak away. I mean, we're shooting for over 50 sprint car races this year, and think about our Cup schedule that we run 38 races there. So I'm actually going to be running more sprint car races than NASCAR races this year. So that's why we like dirt racing so much. It's Eldora is a great facility, and the track out there in Yuma is a great facility from what we've heard too. So it makes it fun to go out and go to new places and see how different tracks and different promoters, how they run their events. And I think it's good for all track operators and promoters to be able to do that. And we all learn from each other. So you always go somewhere and you always learn a good idea that an operator's got that gives you an idea of something you can do at your track.
Tony, you've driven just about every kind of race car there is to drive. If you had to give up all but one, which one would you stay active in?
Man, I hope that it never comes to that, to be honest.
We hope that, too.
They're all fun, and there's something about every division that we run that we really, really enjoy. But I don't know. I would say at this point in my career, if I had to, if they said I could only drive one, I probably would drive the sprint cars. It's I've really had a lot of fun in the last couple of years in particular, and like we mentioned, we're trying to make over 50 races this year, and that's already with a hectic cup schedule that's normally 3 days a week. So being able to go and run all those races, that's you got to have a lot of passion to want to do that, and that's something that we're having a good time and enjoying doing.
On the subject of the Lucas Oil American Sprint Car Series, this, of course, your visit with us, part of the Cocopah Cup Challenge, and if a driver's able to take the first two victories here, there is some bonus money at grab in November when the series comes back to round out its season. Any chance we might see you back in November?
We'll see how it goes here in the spring here, and the hard part about committing to November is just not knowing where we're at in the Cup standings. I mean, if we're in a bid for the Sprint Cup Championship, it'll make it harder to be able to come run some of those extracurricular races late in the year. But we'll have to see what happens. I mean, I hope we're in a position where we're worrying about the Cup car by then. But if not, it wouldn't hurt my feelings to be able to come out and race a couple nights again.
Part one concluding right there of our exclusive interview with three-time NASCAR Sprint Cup champion Tony Stewart, coming to Yuma Friday and Saturday nights, March 1st and 2nd. Competition in the Lucas Oil American Sprint Car Series National Tour Cocopah Cup Challenge, again presented by Cocopah Casino. 2 big nights of racing at the Diamond in the Desert Cocopah Speedway. And our conversation with Stewart continues in just a moment here on Racing Radio. Laptime Live, presented by Cocopah Casino, here on Outlaw Country AM 1400.
You wouldn't expect your child to jump on a bike without learning how to safely ride first. Why would you let him ride an ATV without proper training? Riding an ATV is not as easy as it looks. You've got to learn the ropes before you hit the trails. The best way to learn how to ride is to take a training class. Many are free. Too many riders have been killed or seriously injured on ATVs. Don't become a statistic. Take knowledge to the extreme. Log on today to atvsafety.gov.
Did you know you can scan the SignPro QRC codes on their billboards? Well, you can. Scan the QRC codes for discounted graphic specials at SignPro, 1702 South Arizona Avenue, or call 783-7776. When you want to stay informed, all you need to do is tune in to Outlaw Country. When breaking news happens in Yuma, the Outlaw Country News Department is on top of it. News Director Jennifer Blackwell is quick to provide news information and updates to keep the community informed. Over the airwaves and on Facebook and Twitter. When you want Yuma news you know you can count on, keep it right here. Outlaw Country is your home for the best classic country and Yuma news with Jennifer Blackwell.
It's back, and it's better than ever. Fisher Chevrolet is proud to announce it's cool to stay in school. Be the lucky local high school student to win a 2013 Chevy Sonic. To be eligible, all you have to do is go to school every day this school year. That's right, your perfect attendance makes you eligible to win a 2013 Chevy Sonic. See if your school is participating in this huge event. Rules are posted at itsafisher.com. It's easy, it's fun, and you could win a Chevy Sonic from Fisher Chevrolet Buick GMC.
It's a Fisher! It's a Fisher! Fisher Chevrolet!
You're listening to Racing Radio. It's Laptime Live, presented by Cocopah Casino here on Outlaw Country, AM 1400. Once again, I'm your host, Mike Stanhope, looking ahead on this edition of Laptime Live to the Lucas Oil American Sprint Car Series National Tour, the Cocopah Cup Challenge, presented by Cocopah Casino, again coming March 1st and 2nd. And yes, still almost have to pinch myself to believe it, NASCAR superstar Tony Stewart coming to Yuma to race in that event. If you're just joining us, Stewart spent a portion of NASCAR's Daytona 500 Media Day with the Cocopah Speedway team, but we continue now our conversation with the man himself, Tony Stewart. All levels of racing, 3 NASCAR Sprint Cup championships, an Indy Racing League championship, first ever to win the USAC Triple Crown, among many other accomplishments. Any other things out there that are left that you'd like to do?
Yeah, believe it or not, I really want to try a top fuel dragster at some point, and I don't know that I necessarily want to race. But I do want to learn how to. I want to learn how to drive one. I want to run over 300 miles an hour in one. So that's definitely a goal I've got before I retire. And there's some other races that I would like to try. I'd like to do a little off-road racing at some point, and I'm good friends with P.J. Jones and Robbie Gordon, and they're both big into the off-road side. So, it's something at some point we definitely want to try.
Tony, can you tell us a little bit more about Tony Stewart Racing, which has obviously been a big success in terms of dirt track and asphalt racing wins, but perhaps just as importantly, feeding racing at the grassroots level?
Well, we started it basically in 2001, and we had Danny Lasowski driving our first World of Outlaws team, and the reason we started it was Danny was driving for a car owner in California and really hadn't got a commitment the last 2 years before we did our team. He was having a hard time getting a commitment at the end of the season whether the guy was going to run him in a car again the next year, and for any driver, it's not an easy scenario to be in, not knowing whether you got a job the next year or not. So, that's how we ended up starting our own team, and had a great partnership with Mopar for a while there, and then Chevrolet came along and it expanded to USAC Sprint Car teams, midget teams, Silver Pound team, plus the World of Outlaws team, and now we're to 2 World of Outlaws Sprint Car teams. We're down to 1 USAC Sprint team and 2 Silver Crown cars, but we've had guys like Ricky Stenhouse and Tracy Hines, J.J. Ailey. We've had a lot of guys that have come through our cars and have had opportunities to go other places, and that's something we're pretty excited about, is being able to help some of these younger guys that have dreams of being in NASCAR, IndyCar, and being a part of helping those guys, get their opportunity that they're looking for.
Tony, we'd like to note that you give back in many other ways as well through the Tony Stewart Foundation. Can you tell us more about that and the activities, charities that the foundation supports?
Well, we basically cover 3 aspects, and it's children's charities, animal charities, and injured drivers at the short track level. So, we're pretty passionate about all 3 of those areas, and we've had a good run. I think we've donated over $3 million since we've had the foundation, and it's something that it's a good feeling. I mean, you never want to have to be in scenarios where those people need that kind of help, but it's nice to be in a situation for us to where when those organizations or people are in need of help, that we can contribute and at least do something to try to help out and do our part.
Well, Tony, it's wonderful that you give back that way, and of course, every time you climb behind the wheel of a race car, there's no doubt whatsoever that you give back to all of us fans as well. Anything you'd like to say directly to your many fans here in Yuma and the Imperial Valley?
I'm excited. Something I enjoy is going to places that I haven't been, and that's something I'm really looking forward to. We ran a lot of tracks in Arizona, and always had a good following there. So it's going to be nice for us to get a chance to come to a new place and let some of our fans that don't get a chance to come out and see us very much to come out and watch us run a sprint car.
Well, Tony, we cannot thank you enough for taking time out of your very busy schedule. Of course, the Daytona 500 upcoming, and Tony, we wish you the best of luck indeed.
All right, buddy, I appreciate it.
And to Tony, one more time, we thank you ever so much, good sir. So very gracious of Tony to take time out for that interview, considering the demands on his time, again, preparing for the Daytona 500, not only as a driver, but also, of course, as co-owner of Stewart Haas Racing, which fields his NASCAR ride, and also those of Ryan Newman and Danica Patrick, who's making her full-time debut in NASCAR Sprint Cup this year. Yes, Tony's other operation, Tony Stewart Racing, also fields a powerful team of drivers, as noted in the interview, at dirt tracks across the country, and you can learn more about those competitors at both TonyStewartRacing.com and TonyStewart.com. Stewart, of course, will be racing tonight in NASCAR Sprint Unlimited exhibition at Daytona. That's airing at 6 p.m. locally on Fox tonight. The Sprint Unlimited exhibition featuring all of the 2012 NASCAR Sprint Cup pole winners, as well as past winners of the exhibition event, and NASCAR throwing a couple of twists into that event tonight, which will run in 3 segments, and some of the portions of that race will be determined by actual fan voting there at Daytona International Speedway. And unless you've caught some of the practice sessions ongoing at Daytona International Speedway, for many of us, it'll be our first look at the new Gen 6 Sprint Cup cars, with which NASCAR is really hoping to restore real brand identity to the cars, and also has high hopes for producing more exciting race action on the track. Our focus, of course, remains, though, on the Lucas Oil American Sprint Car Series, again rolling into Yuma for 2 nights of racing on March 1st and 2nd at the Diamond in the Desert Cocopah Speedway. And just thinking out loud here for a moment, wouldn't it be something if Stewart's able to pull off that long sought after Daytona 500 win before coming on out to Cocopah Speedway? Guess we'll find out about that over the course of the 8 coming days. You can stay up to date on ticket availability through our website at www.cocopahspeedway.com. Right now, tickets tentatively set to go on sale this coming Wednesday. And again, we'll have updates on that status at cocopahspeedway.com or through Facebook on the Cocopah Speedway page. And make sure you give us a like there to stay up to speed on all of the happenings. The festivities will kick off with the Cocopah Cup Challenge, Fan Fest Party, and Sprint Car Show. That's going to be happening Thursday night, February 28th at Cocopah Casino. You're listening to Laptime Live, and coming up next, a final look back at last week's IMCA Modified Winter Nationals at Cocopah Speedway, along with a look ahead to the next event at the Diamond in the Desert, round number 3 of the 2013 Cocopah Speedway Racing Series. That's coming a week from tonight. It's Racing Radio. You're listening to Cocopah Speedway's Laptime Live, presented by Cocopah Casino. We'll be back with more in just a moment here on Outlaw Country, AM 1400.
Buying Girl Scout cookies probably looks very simple. You just buy a few boxes from a Girl Scout and that's it, right? But you wouldn't believe the skills we learned by the whole experience of selling them. Ask us about our inventory. We have something for every taste. Notice our new boxes? They tell the story of what we do. Ask us where the money goes. Our team gets to decide. When a Girl Scout sells her cookies, she's building a lifetime of skills and confidence. This is what a girl can do. Girl Scout cookie season is here. Find your cookies at girlscoutssoaz.org.
KSWT News 13. We follow live news wherever it takes us, including Governor Brewer's State of the State.
We'll push to expand the state's Medicare program.
More relevant weather tracked by Chief Meteorologist Gary Frank.
We are going to see widespread freezing temperatures.
On air and online. KSWT News 13 every weekday, including a new time, with Karen Castro and Stephen Comer at 5 o'clock for Pacific, followed by veteran news anchors Steve Nunez and Jennifer Jones at 6 and 10, 5-9 Pacific.
Special Olympics of Yuma are having their 14th annual golf tournament Saturday, March 9th at the Cocopah Golf Course. It's an 8 a.m. shotgun start with cash prizes to the top 4 teams and a men's and women's longest drive and closest to the pin contest. Tournament includes cart, continental breakfast, and lunch. Tea sponsorships are also offered. This local program supports over 100 cognitive and physically challenged individuals. All proceeds go to local Special Olympic athletes and events. Contact Kathy Rees for more info at 246-6770.
This is what it sounds like when your brother gets arrested after school for having coke in his backpack. This is the sound of my fist hitting the wall. The sound of me hating myself for being happy he got caught, because at least for one night he won't be using. And this is what it sounds like when he's back at school, right where he started. 1 year sober.
If you're in recovery from addiction, share your story with the partnership at drugfree.org. Your story can change someone else's.
From the partnership at drugfree.org and drugfreeaz.org.
And welcome back once again to Cocopah Speedway's Laptime Live. Racing Radio here on Outlaw Country AM 1400, presented by Cocopah Casino. A quick recap now of the IMCA Modified Winter Nationals presented by Sun Graphics. If you weren't out last weekend, well, you missed out. No other way to say it. 3 wild nights of action in the IMCA Modifieds, and some history was made as well. Glenwood, Iowa's Jesse Sobbing, the 2012 IMCA Northern Sport Mod champ, well, he showed that the move up to the full-blown A Modifieds was not going to phase him whatsoever. 3 for 3, sweeping feature event action, all 3 nights of racing out at Cocopah Speedway. And the history involved, well, Sobbing's wins here also gave him the first wins for IMCA's new crate motor option in the full-blown modifieds. His wins also giving him the crown in the Winter Challenge Series, which concluded here after 4 races over in Phoenix. Among the Yuma and Imperial contingent, Imperial's Lance Maury in the 19SB regular at Cocopah Speedway. He made the feature all 3 nights of racing, finishing as high as 3rd in the Thursday feature. And asked about the experience down in the Cocopah Speedway pits, well, Maury pretty upbeat about the experience.
I'm pretty psyched for it. Glad that everything came together. We've been trying to stay simple and trying to stay fast. Seems to be working. We won one of those double headers on Friday after we got by Seidler, so we seem to be back on our game. Took kind of a year to do it, but I guess it's better, now than never, or safe than sorry, or whatever they want to say. So, we got our house car, 44N Knoll here, Russell Allen, got a new sport mod with Chris Toth and Ty Rogers in the 8T. He's been real fast. Seems like he wins every time he goes out. He's in our brand new 2013 Northern Sport Mod. So really excited. Here to support the track. I like what they do here. I want to make sure I follow this series or stay around Cocopah as much as I can, because I really appreciate how much Greg and all these people are putting into this thing with the concrete stands and all the other stuff he's doing. It's really important to me, being only an hour away, to support a good thing. And so some nights where the track's rough or dusty or maybe a little too fast, hurt some motors, but you got to take the good with the bad. And as racers, we all whine a lot, and knowing Greg, he's been doing this for a while. He knows that we're all a bunch of whiners, but no, I'm really happy. We were running with a very tough crowd, Sobbing, last year's Northern Sport Mod champion, and even though that's a class below this, it really doesn't matter when you run at that level. You could be a go-kart racer or racing a Fisher-Price car. It really don't matter. They're fast is fast. So we're really happy. I'm glad.
Imperial's Lance Maury. Now, with one, we're handing out a hard luck award for the 3 nights of racing in the Winter Nationals. That'd likely have to go to Yuma's Bobby Horton in the number 3 modified. Bobby got caught up in a wreck not of his own making on Thursday night. He and his crew working all night and all day Friday to get that machine put back together. Among other things, that included straightening out a bent frame. Now, impressively, Horton was able to make that Friday night feature and was back out for action on Saturday as well. And with all of those difficulties, you got to tip your hat. You've got to admire the focus and dedication that Horton and his team brought to bear in getting his car on the track for all 3 nights. Now, IMCA Northern Sport Mods were also in action last Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, with Yuma's Ty Rogers taking feature wins the first 2 nights, and Tonganoxie, Kansas, Ben Cates taking the feature on Saturday nights. All told, better than 60 of the top modified drivers in the country competed. 11 states represented, along with Canada, certainly showing the growth in the modifieds and, of course, the national interest that we've been seeing grow at Cocopah Speedway. We focus now on the upcoming action at Cocopah Speedway, round number 3 of the 2013 Cocopah Speedway Racing Series, set for launch next Saturday night out at the Diamond in the Desert. And while the mods, of course, have seen plenty of recent action, Well, for the Napa Auto Parts Factory stocks, the Fisher Automotive Street stocks, and the Pro Stock classes, it'll have been a little over a month since they've seen any action. And as you can expect, the drivers are champing at the bit. Quick look at the standings going into next Saturday's event. Starting first in the Napa Auto Parts Factory stocks, Miles Morris will go into next Saturday night's event as your factory stock leader. Just 3 points behind him from right here in Yuma, Rick Hibbert, just a couple of more points back to Alpine, California's Wayne Rebello, with Patty Rebello from San Diego and Amy Teague from right here in Yuma, rounding out your top 5. In the Fisher Automotive Street stocks, the points stack up as follows. A Yuma Racing veteran, Dave Amos, currently the leader in the street stocks. A tie, as a matter of fact, with Brawley's Stephen Daffern at the top of the street stock standings. Just a couple of points back of them, Yuma's Joey Essery, and right behind him, just one more point back, Alpine, California's Mike Harlan. And then finally, a two-driver tie for that number 5 spot, Adolfo Noriega and Jimmy Davey, holding down the number 5 spot in the street stock standings. And finally, in the pro stocks, Brett Samala will go into action next Saturday night as the point leader in the pro stocks. He with a 4-point advantage over Lakeside, California's Mike Lurwill. Roy Dafford out of Brawley, a couple of points back of Lurwill, with Joe Haynes and Tommy Thompson from out of Coolidge, rounding out your top 5 in the pro stocks. And again, the IMCA Modifieds and the Northern Sport Mods will also be on the card next Saturday night, and we'll be bringing you up to speed, of course, on who's doing what, and on next week's Laptime Live. Further updates next week as well on Tony Stewart and the Lucas Oil American Sprint Car Series National Tour. Cocopah Cup Challenge presented by Cocopah Casino, again coming March 1st and 2nd to the Diamond in the Desert Cocopah Speedway. And again, as we get closer to that event, the big Fan Fest party and sprint car show will kick all of that off the Thursday night before, February 28th, over at Cocopah Casino. You can find lots of other specialized content and information regarding Cocopah Speedway, Cocopah Casino, the 2013 racing season, and more. It's all available on the World Wide Web. You can visit us at www.cocopahspeedway.com, and be sure to like us on Facebook. Our thanks once again to Tony Stewart for taking time out of a very, very busy race weekend to talk with us from Daytona. You've been listening to Laptime Live, presented by Cocopah Casino. We'll be back with more next Saturday morning, 11 a.m., here on Outlaw Country AM 1400.